Hi everyone, today we're going to be making a logo t-shirt with some Cricut products that we have in the lab, including some iron-on vinyl, a Cricut Maker 3, and a Cricut heat press. So let's get started. So for this project we're going to be using Adobe Illustrator, and I went ahead and I created some vector graphics. Now the reason that we're going to be doing that is because Cricut is going to allow us to cut this vinyl out, and this vinyl is one color. So as you can see, this design on here is one color. I have this pretty much set to the size that I want it to be on the back of the t-shirt. In this case, this is the front of the t-shirt. And so with that being said, I'm going to save this design as an SVG, scalable vector graphic, and we are going to then import that into the Cricut Makerspace, which will allow us to essentially cut our artwork. So now with Design Space open, we can click on New Project, Upload, and then upload our artwork. I've already got mine in there because I did this previously, but now clicking on my artwork, I'm going to add it to Canvas, and as you can see, it shows up at size because it's an SVG file. So the last thing that I have to do with this artwork after playing with it a little bit, I'm going to click on this button that says Attach. Now that's going to make sure that our design stays intact, and it says to Cricut that this is how we want our design. I'm going to skip saving this, I don't need to do that. But now we're going to see our options, and since this is smart vinyl, we do not need to use a mat, and we have a roll of vinyl, and it's just going to cut from that. It's going to tell you what size this is, and you know, it doesn't really matter because again, we've got the roll of vinyl. It is important to remember to flip this because we are going to put this down in a way that requires flipping the artwork so it displays right side up once we put it on the shirt. So now it's thinking, it's looking for the Maker 3, and now we're gonna look for our base material. So I've got it bookmarked already, Smart Iron-On Vinyl, but if you don't have it bookmarked, if it's your first time going to this, you can also click on Browse Materials, and since Cricut kind of knows what we're up to with our Smart material, it pops right up. So after that, we pretty much have our cut settings, and it is ready to get cut. So now we've got our vinyl material here, and as you can see, it's on a roll, and we have the shiny side, which will eventually be the t-shirt side. That goes to the bottom. If you put it in the other way, your Cricut machine might just go a little haywire. So now this is just going to take some time, so we're going to do a little editing and speed this up a little bit. So apologies because it's going to be hard to see here, but we do have our graphic cut after probably, I think this took about 6 minutes to cut this graphic, which is, you know, it's a good size, so it's not too bad. So now that we've got our graphic ready, we can start the weeding process. So now you're going to need sort of a dull point in order to start this. I do like to kind of start at the edge and kind of rip through this plastic a little bit, just because it can get a little bit tough, and like, you know, if I don't have any nails, it does not work too well. So here, what I'm doing is actually just trying to get like the big majority pieces off. There's a lot more fine detail that's going to go into this, like as you can see in the counter space there for the O, we're going to need a little bit more precision for that. So I'm going to fast forward a little bit and get through this process just a little bit quicker. So now we're going through those more kind of finer details, the counter spaces and the type, and you know, just the little details inside the illustration. So with that being said, the best ideas here, you know, are going to be kind of more bolder designs, you know, like again, that's why we're kind of talking about this as if it's a logo shirt. You know, you think about a logo like Adidas or Nike or something like that. That'd be a great, you know, design if we were, you know, trying to make an Adidas or Nike design or whatever. Not that we're trying to infringe on copyrighted material, but the point is, you know, the more detailed that you make this, the harder it's going to be, and you're more likely to damage your artwork. So we've got it pretty good. So the next step is to actually get this on the t-shirt. Headed back to the computer, if we go to Cricut's website and we enter our information of our materials and the machines that we're using, they'll actually give us the time and temperature settings that we need in order to press this shirt effectively. It'll also show you things like how long to pre-press the shirt. So in our case, it's going to be 5 seconds, which means that just as you would iron something at home, we're going to essentially iron this t-shirt beforehand to make sure it's nice and smooth and nice and flat. One thing that we need to do is make sure that we put butcher paper down, and we want to cover every inch of the t-shirt that is going to hit the heat press. This is because we do not want to burn the shirt. If you burn the shirt, especially if it's a white shirt, it might actually start to yellow a little bit from the fabric getting too hot. So just be careful with that. Make sure that we have the shirt covered once again with butcher paper. So now that we have our t-shirt ironed, we can start pressing. I've got the t-shirt design centered, and for this shirt we are going to put it 3 to 5 inches beneath the collar, and we want to make sure that any little specks or things that are not wanted on the design get off of that vinyl, because they will get printed onto that t-shirt and it will be very difficult to take those off. So we're setting this to 315 degrees because this is a 100% cotton t-shirt, and we are going to let this run for 50 seconds. Now, of course, again, we want to add the butcher paper and cover every inch that is going to be used by the heat press. So with that being said, we speed this up a little bit. So once the heat press pops up, we can remove our butcher paper. What we want to do though is wait until our design is cool to the touch. We want to make sure that it has the best chance to adhere itself to the shirt. So once that's done, we can flip it over and do the next side. So with that being said, we have finished our t-shirt. We've got both sides printed, and honestly the quality is pretty good. So if you have any questions about this process or anything else we have here, just let us know.